neighboring city. Plus, many Minnesota fire stations are volunteer departments. Tonight, we look into the challenges they face on a regular basis. And our 1991 Halloween blizzard, 28 inches of snow in 36 hours. The East Coast storm, 30-plus inches in less than 12.
And now, Fox 9 News at 9.
And good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Investigators say he opened fire on 2 police officers inside the New Hope City Hall before he was killed by police.
We're talking about this video right here. Stunned council members unsure what to do as the shots rang out inside the council chambers. Fortunately, none of them came face to face with the gunman, who we are learning more about tonight.
And we do have team coverage with Ted Howler live in New Hope. Karen Scullin in the newsroom. We want to begin tonight with Karen. And Karen, there were signs that a violent outburst could happen, and it did.
It sure did. There were signs for sure. But let me start by saying the 2 officers shot, Joshua Ernest and Bo Schoenhard, have been treated and released from the hospital. But they were lucky, as it seemed Kometz's anger had been festering for years. His attention and anger split between New Hope and Crystal, mad at both cities over 2 different pieces of property. The warnings were in place. It just simply wasn't enough to stop the shooting from happening.
A years-long battle with the city of New Hope ended like this.
Get down, get down.
Just outside council chambers, 2 officers shot, the suspect killed with return fire from police. But there were warnings that it might come to this. That 69-year-old Raymond Kometz was unraveling. Not only was he angry at New Hope, but the city of Crystal as well. Both battles were over property. His brother reported to Crystal police just 5 months ago, in August, that Raymond Kometz was off his meds and had stated just a few days before that he was upset with the city for not giving his property back. And he was going to bring a shotgun or gun and retrieve his property. And that he probably wouldn't be back. That very same August day, he is alleged to have made that statement. He appeared before the city council in New Hope, where he already had a strained relationship as well.
If I say anything inappropriate to any one of you people, please let me know.
Kometz was distraught over losing his home and property in New Hope and accused police of roughing him up.
I got busted up by 5 of your policemen, shot, tased.
As a result of his claims, Kometz filed a federal lawsuit for excessive force, but it was later dismissed. Kometz has been committed to a mental health facility a number of times, diagnosed at one point with a delusional or mood disorder. He's had a number of restraining orders against him, including one from the city of Crystal. The police department filing the order after he charged one of their officers with a bulldozer. He was taking down a building that wasn't his. Kometz's brother warned the city of Crystal he was concerned for the safety of employees at City Hall. But as we now know, he ended up taking his grudge to New Hope instead.
I spoke to Kometz's lawyer, who at one point called the case tragic, despite the fact that he also had a restraining order against his clients. I should say his lawyer said not all Kometz's claims were actually invalid, and his son certainly supports him, along with his ex-wife. His brother, however, told me today he thought the 2 cities and police always treated him fairly. Kelsey.
Thank you, Karen. And our team coverage continues with Ted Howler live in New Hope.
Ted, the situation, like this one, raises a question right away. How secure are these city council meetings?
Well, that's the question tonight, Jeff. But first, I want to talk about some breaking news. There is yet another police incident happening right now in New Hope, about a 2-minute drive from here. Police have a house surrounded. They're asking the person inside that house to come out and surrender. We could hear them using their loudspeaker when we were over there. So your heart has to be with the New Hope Police Department tonight and what's been just an awfully stressful 24 hours. And that brings us to the other important part of this, and that's, yes, I talked with many cities today, and almost every single one of them said that they will be either formally reviewing their security procedures in upcoming council meetings or informally reviewing their procedures in conversations between the city manager and police chief, for example. We also learned that their options may be limited. Almost every city council has that one person regularly showing up, aggressive, unpredictable, and unlike Raymond Kometz, almost always harmless. They hope.
Ultimately, you have to decide if you want to pull police officers off the street in order to have them come and sit inside the city council chambers.
Even in tiny Tonka Bay, they've had those people they keep an eye on. And like other Minnesota cities, they usually opt for openness.
Part of the process is we want to open it up to the public and be welcoming to anybody that wants to come participate in our meetings. And so as a part of that, we have to be ready for anything that can happen and any type of emotions that people are feeling.
Other cities, big, small, and in between, tell Fox 9 a similar story. The balance, they call it. And so does the Minnesota League of Cities.
What we constantly hear from our elected officials is it's so important to balance open government and access by the public with public safety.
In that balance, some cities, from small ones like Crystal, where Comets had run-ins, to larger ones like Maple Grove, have a police officer at every single council meeting. However, most only request an officer for meetings on a case-by-case basis. Other measures can include panic buttons, limited entrances, monitoring, but almost never a ban on guns. You've probably seen these signs before that guns are banned in these premises. That's because in Minnesota, private businesses like us can do that, so can courthouses. But cities, unless they're inside a courthouse, they cannot ban guns.
Cities do not have the authority to ban guns in city buildings.
The Citizens Personal Protection Act of 2003 does not allow cities to ban guns, unless inside a court building. Cities tell us they at least want the option.
We do think that city councils should have some discretion over the buildings where their employees work and where they spend their time interacting with the public.
And of course, a gun ban is only a piece of paper if it's not followed. But overall, I would describe the reaction from other cities today as empathy and concern, but not overly fearful. Again, once again, a developing story here. Once again tonight, police have a house surrounded about a 2-minute drive from here. They're asking a person to come out. We're going to move our live truck over there, and we'll bring you the latest on that situation tonight at 10 o'clock. But for now, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, we know you'll keep us updated on that developing